Hi everybody, welcome to my studio. My name is Lonna. I am an acrylic artist. Thank you so much for stopping by my studio today. I hope you're going to paint because it's going to be a fun one. This is going to be a mixed media project. I think you're really going to like it. I've done some similar designs with this type of technique before, so it shouldn't be anything too difficult. So fun, so relaxing. I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's take a look at it. This is my Cowgirl of Mystery. She is a lot of fun, and you're going to learn a lot of techniques with this one. We're going to be using color washes and things like that. I will be using Deco Art Americana acrylic paints for my paint base, and then we are going to just have some fun with this design. So if you're ready, are you ready? Let's grab our paints and supplies and let's get painting. Alrighty, I've got myself here a 9x12 canvas panel, and I'm going to use my 2-inch damp foam roller and some warm beige, and we're going to base coat this surface with 2 coats. Alright, I'll let this coat dry, and then I'm going to get a second coat on here. Alright, I've got my background dry here. You can lightly sand it if you need to. I feel like it could use just a slight sanding. So you can use a brown paper sack or a fine sanding pad just to knock any roughness on the canvas off. Alright. So this is going to be like, I did a Lady of Mystery a few years ago, and so this is like in the series that I'm going to do. I'm going to be using again a script stamp. This is not the one I used on the Lady of Mystery, but I'm going to use it on this one, and then I'm going to use my StazOn black ink. You can use any kind of script stamp that you have. Whatever you've got, just go with it. And I did use this on the Lady of Mystery. I am going to use it again on this one. This is a Tim Holtz stamp. This is the Baroque stamp, and I will use this one right here. This is the one I believe I used on my Lady of Mystery. So we're going to continue that kind of feel with this design here. Except this one is called Cowgirl of Mystery. So I'm just going to place some ink on here. This stamp feels a little dry. Let me grab my other one. Okay, this one feels much wetter. I need to get some ink and reload my stamps here. Alright, so it doesn't matter how solid you stamp this. We just want to go on here and see that's really light. That's pretty light too, so let me grab more ink on here. You can also use black paint. That's better. And just random. We're just going to be very random and place it wherever. I'm going to try and leave an area in the center for the face, but you know, if I get some in there, it's okay. So that's pretty decent with our stamping. Now, as we work on this, if we need to restamp, we can, because we're going to be applying colors on here, and it's all going to kind of fade into the background a little bit. So we're going to start adding some washes of color onto this. Alrighty, so I've got my paint set up here. I've got Rookwood Red, Raw Sienna, Lush Green, Antique Green would work as well, Burnt Umber, Payne's Gray. So these are the colors we're going to use in our background. Now, when I did my Lady of Mystery, I put some color on and I spritzed it with water. You can certainly do it that way, but I think this time I'm going to really slather on the water and then just pick up some paint randomly and kind of let it do its thing. Go back into some water Get another color in here. And just have a little bit of fun with it. So, or splatter it all over the place like I just did. So these will end up being pretty transparent in the background, which is good. We don't need, I mean, we got stuff going on in the painting, so we won't see a lot of this. Okay, that was a lot. That was Payne's Gray. Let me remove some of that because that was a tremendous amount. Okay, and then the burnt sienna, I haven't put any of that in yet. It's more of a Western type of painting, so I really want to have a play on those kind of Western-y colors. Alright, so if you've got a lot of water on your canvas, you can tilt it and let it run. I like to go one way and then back the other way. Any direction that you want it to go. This kind of gives it, you know, gives your background a lot more character. So, tap it off. This will take a minute to dry because we are really, really, really wet here. And then when this dries, it is going to be very subtle in the background because we used a lot of water here. So I'm going to clean up my mess while it dries, and we're going to get ready to put our line drawing on here and work on this. Alrighty, we want to do some splattering on the background. I've transferred on my line drawing, so we can kind of see where it goes right now. But I want to splatter some of these colors into the background. Now you can choose whatever colors you want to do. You can do no splattering at all. It's up to you. But I'm going to do the Rookwood Red, the Payne's Gray, the white, and probably a little bit of burnt umber. So we want to just start by thinning some down with some water. I'm using a rake brush because that's just going to give me, I like all the fine hairs that come off the end that, you know, let the paint just kind of splatter off. And I have a baby wipe here so I can clean up anything that I don't like. Just put it wherever you want. I really don't want it on the face, so if I get some on the face, I can take that off very quickly. The hair is going to cover up any splatter over there, but alright. That was Rookwood Red. I'm going to do some Payne's Gray. Thin it down. Okay, apparently it's not thinned down enough. Not wanting to come off of the brush. That was some big splatters up there. I'm definitely going to diffuse those a little bit. Soften them back. And we'll still have them on there, just not going to be bold and in your face. Let's do some burnt umber. Okay, more water. If it doesn't want to come off my brush, it's just stuck up in the bristles. Like I said, this is an optional step. And I'm going to diffuse with my baby wipe. Okay. I can get it on the hat. I don't have to worry about not getting it on the hat. I'm going to use my clean water for this one. And some of these I will knock back and some of them I won't. This is a messy thing to do, so if it's not one of your favorite things, I highly recommend you don't do it. It's not one of my favorite things, but it does have its effect. Alright, so now we got to get this dry. I think that looks pretty good. And the cool thing about when you tap on it to diffuse it, you got paint on your thing here, and you can go put it somewhere else. We are going to be putting some white stamping at the end, so I don't have to worry about having a whole lot of white on here. So I think that looks pretty good. We're going to leave it at that. Totally cool, totally cool. Okay, let's get this dry. All right, let's start on this gal right here. I'm going to keep her on flat on the table here. I think she might be a little too close if I lift her up. Okay, so I've got natural buff here, and we're going to lighten up her skin a little bit. This is very sheer. We're just going to create a lightness on her skin. Very, very, very light. I'm going to grab my mop brush because that's a little bit fluid right there. Bring it around her chin here. Do some on her neck. I'm not going to paint on that line, that way maybe I can remove it. I don't know if my hair will cover it up, so I just did a little bit down there. I want to bring a little bit more up into her cheek. Put a little bit on her nose. And a little bit around her lip here. And that's kind of in the shadows back there, so I might take a little bit of my rookwood and get it pretty sheer, and see about putting some of this on her cheeks, kind of rosy up her cheeks a little bit. Okay, we'll let that dry and see how that goes. Okay, so her lips here, I'm going to paint them in. I'm going to start out with some thinned paint. This is Wild Berry. That off right there, and then I'm going to touch right there and kind of remove some of that paint. I'll create a little bit lighter area in her lip. Again, you can use a baby wipe to do that. All right, so for the sunflower, we're going to do some washes of color in here. We're going to start with a wash of moon yellow on the petals. Everything's kind of light and transparent. Moon yellow is an opaque color, so it's not really a transparent one. And then we'll do some of that lush green wash on the leaves. This is all very light. Okay, the hat band, I want it to be a dark color. So I'm going to take my rookwood, kind of like I did on the other one. I'm really not sure what colors I used on the other one. I'm going to take rookwood and burnt sienna, kind of mix them together and thin them down. And we're going to put a wash of this on here. I'm going to remove the paint from my brush and just use some water and spread this around because I don't want it to get too dark too quickly. I'm going to keep it light, light, light. And then we'll wash some burnt umber into the center of the sunflower, and this is all of our base coats here. So we did a little floaty wash on the face, wash on the lips, the sunflower, and the hat band. So we've got some color that is starting here, and it's looking really good. Okay, I want to start creating the form of the hat with a wash of Payne's Gray. Now on our Lady of Mystery, we use the Rookwood Red, but I think for a hat, I think Payne's Gray is going to bring out the hat a little bit more. So we're just going to create some little washes of this color. Have your mop brush handy so you can diffuse it and soften it. You know, we can always come in and add more layers. But we want to start out fairly soft here. We're not filling in the whole hat, but we are going to give it the look that it is a dark colored hat. Give this edge a little bit of a like folded lip here. This is just a wash. Payne's Gray is transparent, so that's going to help it lay in here nicely. Something on my canvas. Okay, let's see about mopping that. A little bit down here. Actually, I think I'll do a wash of Rookwood on this edge of the hat. That's going to start creating some good character in the hat right there. I'm going to put some of this up here as well. It's just some really thin washes of color right now. I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add some burnt umber into that Rookwood and see if I can tone it down just a scooch. Alright, let's mop. Mop, 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 mop. Okay, so I'm going to take some of that burnt umber. I think I still have a little bit of Rookwood in my tip of my brush here. This has got some good beginning here. And we will come in and darken areas, but it's a good start and I'm liking it. Alright, our first little washes are on and they're looking good, so let's go to our lips and we're going to make a little bit thicker wash now. It's still a wash. A lot more paint in the water though. And we're going to put this at the corners and under the lip and along the bottom. We're going to keep some areas unpainted and mop, mop, mop. Light area in the center. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit more of a wash on the cheeks with the Rookwood red, and this time I'm going to add a little bit of that berry in there. Oh. Went through my lips there. We're still wet. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, let me make sure I got all that pink out. I want to do the skin again. Bit more of a highlight here. And the neck. Start shading on the skin the next go round. I know that looks incredibly bright right there, so we may wash over it with our base color, but I'm thinking when we get everything shaded on there it's going to look good. Alright, going back to my Payne's Gray here, and we're going to go into our same areas. We can get a little bit more paint in our wash this time. hear the mowers. They're not actually doing our yard, they're doing the neighbors. We're much closer to neighbors at this house. Last house, we are on a cul-de-sac here, but our yards were farther apart. Of course, I was also in an upstairs space. Alright, grab the mop. Gotta mop it before it dries. If you want to soften and diffuse. So we are just working with washes of color here. Okay, that's too much paint. Even though it's a transparent color, ooh, I didn't want that much. So wiped my brush off and loaded some more on there. Okay. Let's do some washes on the hat here. And burnt sienna, a little bit of Rookwood. Still want to put that Rookwood sienna wash on the hat. I actually did burnt umber there, but I kind of like that. A little bit of Rookwood in there, I think. Alright, I'm going to grab some burnt umber. I think I'm getting a little bit too red here. Alright, we're still just working on our second washes here. Let me do my washes on my sunflower. So the center of the sunflower was burnt umber. A little bit more water. Still want to be able to see the stamping. Alright, so the leaves were that lush green. And I think I'm going to pull out another color here. Use on the petals. I'm going to use some antique gold and put this in. Rinse off my brush here because I'm going to try and diffuse that just a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good for our washy base coats. So now we're going to go in and start adding more definition and doing more. Okay, I want to shade on the skin under the hat. So I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber and mix it with my base color, which was warm beige. And that should give me a nice little shading color. So I'm going to go underneath the hat. Under the chin on the neck here. This is just a teeny tiny little bit of burnt umber in there, so don't let it get too dark, but we do want to see it. Oh, that's not dark enough. A little bit more in the mix on my brush. Needs to be darker than the skin, but we don't want it to be overly dark, you know. We're going to go around the nose here. We need to go above in the valley under the nose on the lip right here. Under the chin, I'm going to get a little bit more burnt umber in that mix. I probably should go to a smaller angle brush. This one's pretty big. Smaller angle. Where's my smaller angle? I've got this one. Its bristles were not working right earlier. Let's see how it does. A little burnt umber, a little warm beige. Make a nice shading color here. I'll start creating the little nostril look there. I'm not sure how far out the hair is going to come here, so, you know, over on this side. So I want to make sure right through there it's got some good shading. I think I'll put a little bit of this, a little bit more burnt umber in there along this edge of the face. A little shadow over here. Or a lot of shadow over there. Okay, so that was the shading for the face. We're going to shade on the lips now. I'm going to grab some Rookwood Red and mix it with my Wild Berry. And we'll go underneath. Oh, probably like to be on camera. Underneath the lip. That's what happens when I don't have my easel. I get off camera. A little bit along the bottom. Go to this side. I want to keep it light in the center. It can be darker out here and darker out here. kept it light on those high places on the upper lip, and then right in the center of the lower lip it's pretty light, and her lip is looking really weird right there. I don't think I put my line on right. Straighten it out a little bit. So I'm going to take some Rookwood Red and just darken at the corners. Okay. I'll add some detail and highlights in there in a minute. Alright, I'm going to try Payne's Gray and Burnt Umber. Probably not going to work. Let's add some red. I want to make almost a black, but not a black. And paint in the nostril there. For the lips, I'm going to add a few little lines on there. So I'm going to take my Rookwood and thin it down and add some mostly in the bottom lip. We don't really need to add them in the top lip, just a few little lines there in the bottom. And then we will highlight. I'm just going to use my round brush to do this. I'm going to take some of my berry, maybe a little bit of that. I think I'd rather use white. White and a little bit of berry. And we're just going to start dabbing this on the bottom lip and a little bit up here on our upper lip. It's going to be right through the center here. Okay, I'll let that dry and I will definitely brighten that. So that's kind of our first steps. We lightened. I think we added a little more pink. We shaded here, shaded around the nose, in the center of the lip, below the lip, and under the neck is where we went. I really think I'm going to have to get my easel out because I think I keep getting you off camera. Okay, let's brighten the highlight on the lips here. Just down on the bottom. Right in the very center there. That's it. That's all we have to do to those lips. Pretty easy. Okay, we're going to move up to the sunflower now. And I'm going to grab my small angle, my 1/4 inch angle here. And I'm going to use some burnt umber and some antique gold. Put this at the base of our flowers. Need more moisture in my brush, that's for sure. Goodness, not getting anywhere. And I think we'll separate some of these petals a little bit where we can see a separation. Okay, that makes the sunflower look much better. We'll add a little highlight on there with some white. Remember, these are all pretty subtle colors on here. Just a little touch of white. That's going to make our sunflower pop a little bit. It's a very small amount of paint here. And we can maybe wash over this. Let me see. I got some cad yellow that I was going to use in the hair. I also got Sunny Day. Cad yellow will be a little more transparent. Probably better for a sunflower. So I'll just make a little wash of this. I mean, a little wash. And maybe brighten up our sunflower. So that looks pretty good. So in the center of the sunflower, we're going to take some burnt umber, Payne's gray, maybe a little Rookwood red so we can make it transparent, or burnt sienna. Let's do the burnt sienna. And the burnt umber. And a little bit of Payne's gray. I just want it to be darker down there than it is at the top. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring burnt sienna out on the petals, I think. Let me work on those leaves while that's drying. So my lush green, I'm going to take my lush green, and I'm not going to thin it down. I'm just going to use it as it is, and this will kind of darken my leaves a little bit. Just going to put it at the base. Maybe use a little bit of cad yellow for the highlight. I just let it brush mix. And there's our leaves. Okay, let's see if this is dry so I can go around the edge there. I'm going to do some burnt sienna. I think this will perk up our sunflower quite a bit. I'm just going to very sketchily put that in. So that's a cute little sunflower. I like it. I don't really think I want to do much more to the center of that. I do want to add a little bit more white on some of those petals, because when I put that yellow on there, it really took that out. Okay, that sunflower looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with it. The face I'm happy with. The sunflower looks good. We're going to finish up the hat, and then I'm going to do the hair. Okay. Oh, we gotta do the hat band, so I think we'll do the hat band next. Okay. Let's do the hat band. So the hat band, I want it to be mostly burnt sienna, a little bit of rook wood. So we're just going to shade it at the right side of it. Get it nice and dark over there. We're going to keep it light as it comes over here. Yeah, I might have to put a little bit right here because that kind of bugs me that that's... I do want some lightness in it. So I might have to add some Payne's Gray to get that a little bit darker on that edge. So Payne's Gray is kind of transparent, so put that in there. Okay, I want my hat to appear more blue, black. I don't know how to say that. So I'm going to take my Payne's Gray and mix some Rookwood Red with it. Okay, I got into my white. I'd have to go to a new plate here. Payne's Gray and Rookwood Red. Payne's Gray is transparent. The Rookwood Red is going to darken up that Payne's Gray. And then we can wash this onto our hat and give our hat a little bit more cowboy look, like it's a dark hat. Okay, this is Payne's Gray with a little bit of Rookwood Red. Which makes a purpley color, kind of. Got our highlights to put on our hat, so that's really going to help, and our stamping and everything. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I really want the hat to be like a gray type hat. I think I might take some of my burnt umber though. Oops. Dirty fingers. Can't do that with dirty fingers, man. Okay, this is burnt umber. So you're just gonna kind of pick and choose the places you want some of these colors to be. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but it does help if you can get some browns and some reds and some blues in your hat. And then we're going to highlight. I think I want a little bit more, maybe brownie Bonnie blue. That was Burnt Umber and Payne's Gray mixed together. That makes a nice dark shading color. Payne's Gray and Burnt Umber definitely make a dark color. Get my mop brush. Take care of some of that. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. We're ready to put some highlights on our hat, I think. Let's highlight on our hat and highlight on our hat band, and then we're going to be ready for the hair. We're just going to highlight with white. So I want to highlight along up here. Maybe a little back there. I want to put some in the hat band right through there. This whole edge right here is going to be highlighted. It didn't get painted at all because it's just a highlight edge. We're going to highlight down here. Not really sure why paint is going so far over on my brush, but I'm going to have to wash it and reload it. I'll put a little bit here. This edge. Back there. I'll put some down the center here. This is just what's left in my brush, just kind of dry brushing it through there. Here. Might put just a little bit in the center of the sunflower right there. We're going to be stamping some white on here, so we don't have to get too carried away with our highlights here. I want to hit those high points on the hat though. Alrighty, I think that's going to take care of our highlights. We're ready to add some hair in here now. So we're going to paint her hair some golden colors, I think. So we're going to make sure we have out Moon Yellow, Antique Gold, Sunny Day, and white. Maybe Cad Yellow. I don't know about the Cad Yellow yet. And of course we'll need some Burnt Umber or Sable Brown to add a few brown streaks into the hair. But so far, she's looking pretty cute. Alrighty, I am going to actually stencil before we do the hair. So I am going to use this Tim Holtz. It's a Baroque stencil. I'm using this one. This is the same one I used on my Lady of Mystery. So I'm going to put some take her off of here for a second. Put some white paint on this stencil. Fresh paint. I'm using a makeup sponge to apply it so I don't get it too incredibly thick on here, but enough that I can stamp easily with it. Okay. Let's put this on here, and then we're just going to stamp it wherever we want to stamp it. So let's stamp it there. Let's stamp it here. I definitely need a lot more paint. More white paint. That's not near dark enough, so I may have to take that off with a wet wipe. And reapply it. Don't want to scrub too hard because I will remove all my paint from underneath. So let's try this again. If you have white ink or a white stamp pad, you could probably use that as well. Let's see how this is going to stamp. Maybe I should take it off of here. Okay, let's try this. That's better. I love this look on here. Stay off the face. Definitely want more up here. I'm going to put some down here. I'm not sure how far down the hair is going to come or how far over it's going to come over here. So I love all that white stamping on there. I think it is so elegant. Okay, that's probably good enough for where we're going with it, but doesn't that, I mean, that to me, oh, love, 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 love. Okay, so we've got our stamping on there. We are ready to put the hair in. All right, let's paint this lady's hair in and get her finished up. She's looking super cute. I'm going to start with Moon Yellow to start adding some hair in here. We're going to give her blonde hair. My other girl had black hair. So we're going to give this one blonde hair. So I'm just going to start kind of forming where I want some hair to be. And I'm just using an angle brush here, going right up to the hat. I need some water in this Moon Yellow. It is so thick. kind of start like that because it's going to give us a good base to go with, and then we're going to have some hair coming back here a little bit. We'll have a few streaks of hair that are coming from over here. Maybe not quite that much. That's a lot. I just want a couple coming over here out from underneath the hat. I'll use my smaller brush for that because this one's a little bit too big for this. Alright, so we're just going to kind of fill it in here. Take it down to there, a little bit coming here, and then I will have a few strands here and there coming. Okay, so that's moon yellow. I think I'm going to do that moon yellow a little bit darker. I want it to be just a touch more opaque. My yellow is just really, okay, that's a chunky monkey in it. I just want some more flow to my paint here. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're starting out with some moon yellow. That looks really good. Okay, I'm going to definitely switch to a different brush here. That one's way too big for what I need it to do. Moon yellow is our start. Okay, I'm going to go to antique gold now. I'm just using an angle brush. You can use a flat brush, a round brush, whatever kind of brush you like to use. And I'm going to try and start adding some more defining hairs in here. My moon yellow is still wet, so it's going to blend with it a little bit. As many layers of paint I have on here already, this is dragging like the canvas is a new canvas, you know, unpainted, which is very strange. Okay, put some of this down here. Need to bring it down a little bit more here to the bottom. Fill it in more there. That looks much better. I'll probably use a round brush to add hairs over there. So that was adding our first layer of antique gold. It probably will not be our last layer of antique gold. Okay, I'm going to grab my other brush here. Let me look at my line drawing. Never seem to have it handy when I need it. Kind of want to see where I put my hairs coming over here. I have them coming out here, a few. This is the moon yellow. I just want to stay caught up. So a few hairs over there. We will be using this round brush to bring more finer hairs out as we work. more detailed hairs as we go. But for starting off, it's not necessary. So I'm going to try some of this cadmium yellow. I'm not sure it's even going to play well here. It's not going to show up. It's a good color if you at the end if you want to wash over your hair, and that wasn't dry, so I just smeared all that over there. But the cad yellow, I'm gonna maybe skip that. Let me never find a palette knife when I need one. This color here, which is Sunny Day, was not mixed well. So let's try some of it. It's a little more opaque and see how, yeah, it shows up nicely. I'm still just using this angle brush. Maybe a touch of water in there. Okay, that was a lot of hair, a lot of paint right there. I'm not sure. I took a picture with the previous layer that I put on here. Okay, that definitely brightened up the hair there. So that was Sunny Day. Okay, I want to go to my burnt umber next. And I'm just going to do a few of these just to give some depth to her hair. Of course, I got to get my paint a little thinned here. I have my round brush now, so we're going to add some of those other colors back in, do a couple more layering things here. Okay. That was just a few burnt umbers. We can come back in and add more later. That was probably a much bigger brush than I should have been using for that. I'm going to dry this. I want my hair to get muddy. I'm going to take my small round and put some Sunny Day over here. Get some brighter hairs over here. We won't put any burnt umber on this side. This is going to stay brighter. I can't remember if I put any down here or not. Okay, I need to go back to probably my antique gold here. Put a little bit more of that in here. And then I'm going to start using my more detailed brush. Start adding more fine hairs in here. So that was the antique gold. I'm going to go now with my round brush and start adding some Sunny Day in here. This is where we can define more shape in our hair. Or you can keep it straight. Depends on if you want it to have any kind of movement. Let's get a few hairs coming off back here. I don't want those burnt umber ones to be so bright. We could have gone with a little bit lighter brown. I have sable brown out here, but I don't remember using it on anything, so if that's something I use, then we could use the sable brown in the hair. It's a little bit of a lighter brown. I need to put some of these coming out from underneath the hat here. I'll shade under the hat, but we need some lighter ones. We don't want to start and stop mark here, which I could put some tape along this hat brim and that would help. We'll put some white ones on here as well. And, you know, your hair can burnt umber ones are a little bit darker than what I would like them to be. I wanted a little bit of darkness in the hair, but that was a little bit darker than what I wanted, so I'm going to cover the majority of the burnt umber up. Stay on the tip of your brush. That's how you're going to keep your hairs more pretty, not fat. Much water in my brush there. I'll probably mix some Sunny Day and white to get a nice layer in here. I want that to be right there next to the hat. It needs to stay thin. The hair can come out more, but I want it to be thin right there. Okay, I think I'm going to mix my white and Sunny Day together to get a really, really light yellow. Then we'll do some shading and see how it looks. So let's take some Sunny Day and some white. Probably 2 white, 1 Sunny Day. I'm going to have to get a different brush. I just feel like everything is dragging. Not sure what's going on. These are... These are more highlights in the hair. They might be a little bit longer hairs. That was the weirdest hair ever. Paint it in. I've never had so much difficulty painting hair before. It just does not want to flow off of my brush. You can just keep adding layers until you get your hair like you like it. So I'm going to go back and do a few more Sunny Day ones, especially down here. And then we'll do some shading. I think we'll be done with her hair. So like I said, you can really continue to play with the hair and until you're extremely happy with it. Okay, let me dry this real quick. Okay, we have to shade underneath the hat. I'm going to use antique gold with a little bit of burnt umber in it. Way too much paint on my brush here. Just need a little bit of paint. I'm going to push this hair underneath the hat. You want to make sure your hair is dry before you do this. I have a little bit of shading here and here. And then you can shade in the hair itself if you want to like define an area. Like I want that to pop out a little bit more. Maybe not burnt umber, maybe with antique gold. Antique gold burnt umber mix is probably the best. So any places that you want maybe a couple of hairs to be more defined, this is where you will go in and shade on one side of them, and that's going to pop it a little bit forward. If you're doing black hair, obviously, of course my hair when I did it was black, and so I highlighted. So once I created my highlights, it gave me some options to go in and create some shadows in there. So you can see how, you know, we're creating a few little pieces of hair that, you know, are a little bit more forward on this gal. And this is fairly easy to do. Just going to see where else I can maybe tuck some in and create some more depth. In her hair. Maybe right through here. Looks a little dark. So this is where you can set and really create some cool looks in her hair. Just bring a few strands forward, that's all. Let's do a couple down here, and I think we're going to be done. Okay, I think I'm going to call this gal done. I like her a lot. A lot. I feel like I need to put a few hairs back down in here. Alrighty, we're gonna call this Lady Dawn, this Cowgirl of Mystery. I think she turned out super cute. I like her. She is amazing. Wide angle out just a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Super cute, you guys. I like her. Alright, that's it for me on this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this. Please like, please subscribe, please share. I appreciate you all. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.